Welcome to the Brian Mudd Show. It's the info you need to start your day in the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast.
It was 15 years ago today. Kandahar, Afghanistan. Staff Sergeant, bomb technician Brian Mast was on a mission to clear a path for U.S. Army Rangers. What happened next changed his life forever, left him coming back to the States having sacrificed as much as anybody who's ever left a battlefield alive. And on that note, we welcome Congressman Brian Mast. Happy Alive Day, Brian.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate you thinking about it.
15 years. What does it feel like? Tell me about it.
I mean, the reality is the years go by and, everything that about injury just becomes the new normal to life. Hopefully anybody, any of us, right? I'm 45 years old. Somebody's 50, somebody's 35, whatever. It's rare that any of us go through life and we're 100% every single day, but we're Americans. And so whether we're 50% or 100%, we just plow forward and we go ahead and we exhaust ourselves fully in the purposeful things that we do. It's one of the great things about us. It's what makes us better than everybody else.
Brian, we've talked about it at times over the years. I don't know if I've ever asked you, what was your first recollection? How long did it take? Did you know right away what happened?
Yes and no. So when I was injured, we only work under the cover of darkness, and everything we do, pitching at night vision optics. We don't turn flashlights on for anything. We're going out into the dark to either kill or capture an individual that's a high-value target. Whoever the highest-value target is, we can find that night. And as we're moving across the ground, we came to a place that I knew there had to be a bomb buried in the ground, a tripwire, a pressure plate, an ambush, something like that. I was working with a couple of sniper friends and a canine handler, a couple of medics, some other people, interrogators. Everybody had a real specific job to do. I was the bomb tech. And I'm down on this riverbank where I think there's probably something that's blocking our way, and I'm looking for it, and I don't find or see anything. And so I go to the other side of this river, and I do all the things that I do to look for devices in a place that I know there might be one. Look for, again, dug up earth, tripwires, pressure plates, just anything to me that seems out of place. And I still didn't find or see anything, but I knew there had to be something there, but the mission has to go on, so you got to keep forging ahead. And so I moved on past this area that I had searched 1, 2, maybe 3 steps, and I'm on the steep embankment of a river, and the rivers, the waterways over there, they're disgusting. They're filled with poop and everything else. If you get in the water, you're going to come out with an infection or something worse. And so I start moving up this river bank, and I took 1 or 2, maybe 3 steps, and boom, right? Device went off underneath my feet. It was probably a pressure plate buried in the ground somewhere. Nobody will ever know, but probably, something that I stepped on. And I remember vividly, it didn't knock me out. I remember vividly it me throwing me through the air, probably some 10, 15 feet. I landed, down the riverbank, and I land on my back, and I'm laying there on my back, and I'm gasping for air, because the wind was knocked out of me from the concussion, the blast of this explosion. And as I'm laying there, I know there's a good reason that I can't stand up, but maybe it's just because I just got knocked down in a real hard way. I'd been blown up before, but never blown up like that. And so I'm laying there and I'm gasping for air, and I'm trying to wipe all of this dirt out of my eyes because that explosion had blown all the dirt in the ground. Is like somebody with a hand the size of God threw dirt in my eyes. I'm trying to wipe all that out of my eyes, and I notice on my left hand, all of the fingers on my left hand were broken. One of them was barely hanging on. 2 of them were barely hanging on. Substantial damage to my forearm. I'm like, okay, this got me pretty good. And I still had my radio device in my ear. And right about then, I could hear my men. They're talking about me. EOD is hit. EOD is down. That was me. They're radioing it up to all the eyes in the sky, the AC-130 gunships and the attack helicopters that are watching our mission. So I'm hearing this play out as I'm laying there, out of it of sorts. And, a few minutes later, my men risking their lives because bombs on the battlefield, they don't just come in, like problems in life. They don't just come in ones and twos. It could be, half a dozen or however many bombs. And so, they're risking their life to come in and save me. And they had to put me through the most painful thing, and this is what really woke me up. Most painful thing that I can remember is them putting tourniquets on me. So like picture it like a belt that they had to put on what was left of each of my legs, my left and my right leg, which was very little. And they had to wrench those down as tight as they could to keep me from bleeding out on the battlefield. And they had to do the same thing to my left arm, again, to keep me from bleeding out on the battlefield. And so I'm aware of all of this, and I'm aware that I got substantially injured, but I didn't fully know the extent of it. And eventually they put me on a medevac helicopter. Last thing I remember is them telling me that I'm going to be okay, as we're trained to do.
Right.
Be all right. You're going to be okay, right?
I'm sure the guys looking at you weren't thinking that.
I think we believe it. You got to believe that you're saving somebody's life.
Yeah.
It's part of what we're trained to do. And they get me on that bird, and I, at some point on that bird, became incapacitated. I have about no memories for, let's say, a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Wow.
So I woke up in Washington, D.C., Walter Reed.
It's incredible. It is absolutely incredible. God bless you, my friend. And, Brian in the service, Bronze Star recipient, Purple Heart, Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal with Valor, and true American hero. So
zero regrets, my friend. Zero regrets. Tell people all the time, this country has given me far more than it has ever taken.
You're a good man. No doubt about that. While we have you, obviously a lot going on. Your thoughts, Charlie Kirk?
Oh, man. Heavy. I knew Charlie.
Speaking with Brian Mast, Congressman, point out that he was just telling us about what he sacrificed in the battlefield and that experience, and this about Charlie.
Yeah, I don't think I'll get into Charlie today.
Understood. All right. Sunday is going to be that much of an emotional day for many yet again. The memorial in Arizona Cardinal Stadium. Brian, you're a good man, and we are glad to have you. You represent your community, your constituents well, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Always good to be with you, my friend.
All right. Congressman Brian Mast.